And this next topic, so we're going to talk about how sugary drinks affect your body. Every single system gets affected in a different way, which leads to like negative side effects. And we can start with the top, right? The brain. So the brain is a system where it creates memories. There's a lot of neurons and all this stuff going on. And we're not realizing that sugar is literally hijacking our good chemicals. We're releasing large amounts of dopamine, which explains why we kind of crave sugar throughout our day. And there's so much studies that are like linking like little mice, right? Or is it lab rats, whatever you want to call them?
Yeah.
Lab rats, that's fine for today. So these lab rats are literally choosing like sugar. Like there was a test that tested the Oreo filling compared to like cocaine, and these rats were more hooked on the Oreo filling and consumed it and chose it over than cocaine. It just shows you how sugar hijacks our brain because it's mostly made out of sugar, and it's just leading to bad negative feedback loops in the brain.
Right. It just releases so much dopamine at a certain time, and it's so easy accessible, or it's even more dangerous than certain drugs in the dietary aspect. Like, I mean, obviously sugar is not as dangerous as like heroin and crack and cocaine, those kind of drugs, but it's just so easily accessible where it can be just as dangerous. Because you could go anywhere and buy it, and it just releases so much dopamine, and if you really wanted to, you could keep eating sugary foods and drinks, and you can always be on a dopamine rush all the time. And then you crash real hard when you stop eating it. So what do you go back? You feel like shit, so you keep eating more.
When I see these people like snack on like a 50 calorie sugar Pepsi, then they got a Twix, then they chase it up with some chips, it's like, damn, dude, it's all sugar.
Right. Exactly. Absolutely no nutrition value at all.
And a lot of people don't realize it, man, and it's unfortunate. But that's why you guys have us here, right?
Right. Like, especially like with sodas too. They're acidic. You know, that's probably why it's more attributed to GI disorders because acidity. I just thought about that right now. Or GERD happens. Just because you're just swallowing basic acid. And
I wonder if it's linked to like peptic ulcers and things like that.
Yeah, digestive disorder. So peptic ulcers, GI bleeds. Yeah, everything has to do with your GI tract issues. Diverticulitis. It's all contributed to by sugar and soda.
And if we go down the list, we now have the teeth, right? And we kind of hear the stories all the time that your mom tells you, hey, don't eat sweets late at night. It's bad for your teeth. And it really is, because when sugar is on your teeth, it doesn't matter if you brush them regularly. This bacteria acts so quick and it starts eating the sugar on the teeth, which is like breaking down the enamel, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's just causing more cavities, guys.
Yeah, it's just like quick and easy access to glucose. Your bacteria is there. They want to eat. They want to thrive. And, their main source is sugar. And it's just so easy to ingest and break down for the bacteria, where it's just such a simple sugar where bacteria just digest it and they spread like crazy, like those lab rats. Goddamn lab rats.
The next one is the skin. And as we know, sugar affects like this whole metabolic cascade and causes that syndrome that we talked about before in our podcast episode. And it causes like the skin to age faster. There's something called AGEE, which is called advanced glycation end products. And literally these molecules age your skin. What exactly it does, it's been shown to damage collagen and elastin in your skin. And these protein fibers that literally keep your skin nice and firm and youthful, guys. It's like the people that drink the alcohol, the people that smoke the cigarettes, and they look like they're aging faster and it looks bad on you. Like, sugar has the same effect.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then it's also, what's the next one? The liver. It's basically sugar toxicity. Your liver can be processed so much, and with all the insulin getting released, your liver gets damaged, and it's not able to process all of it like alcohol. We get drunk because our liver doesn't process all the alcohol at once, and that's what the effects of drinking is.
Or you hear that kids are obese, like they're like 15, they have a fatty liver disease. Like, guys, how are they getting a fatty liver disease? That's usually related to alcoholics, but now it's related to freaking sugar, man, and diet.
Yeah, liver's your filter. It's obviously going to filter that sugar through everything that comes into it, and it's just, there's so much sugar there where it just gets backed up. And it just gets backed up, and then you get liver damage, like you said, fatty liver, cirrhosis. It's all linked together, and it's very, very sad that something like this, like sugar, that's been around for years and years. Back then, it was used as probably like as a luxury, like back in the Roman era or 1900s, where sugar wasn't as accessible, so people didn't consume as much. So the effects weren't as bad compared to now, where you go to Walmart, you go to a store, and the main ingredient is sugar.
Yeah, when I was in Poland, my because we didn't have candy as often. Like my grandma, I used to come up to my grandma's house. She used to give me a sugar cube, like even through the window. Like she was just chilling on a wheelchair. She just gave me a sugar cube.
Yeah.
And it's funny how that was like a little treat for us, and that was like good enough for us. And now it's just accessible.
Right. Yeah. I stayed with my parents when they were in Poland. Like they had rations because there was still communism going on, and you had a ration. You need to ration food, and chocolate was really expensive because no one could really get.
What are rations for people that don't know?
So rations
like
is
slips, right?
Yeah, slips, and it tells you can get 1 pound of ham and like a loaf of bread, because it was communism. So it was another branch of socialism, you could say, but very more extensive, and you could only get whatever the government allows you to get. And chocolate was very hard to get because that's like a luxury. You don't really need chocolate to survive. You eat it more for like the dopamine rush, just to feel good. So they ate meat, bread, cheese, and all that, and chocolate was a luxury. They would take one chocolate bar, and there was 4 of them, and they would just break it over to 4 people.
Damn.
They had like maybe once a week. And it's not like now where you get chocolate everywhere you go. And that's leading to all these unfortunate diseases and illnesses.
The next one is the heart, and sugar. Literally, whatever we don't use up as energy turns into like triglycerides, right, and extra energy sources. And all this extra excess sugar that's circulating in your bloodstream is literally causing like atherosclerosis. It's affecting our circulatory system. It's making our veins and arteries literally stiff and tense, less elastic, and it's leading heart strain, right?
Yep.
It's causing our heart to work harder and causes damage over time in the long run. It's not gonna happen in your youth, but you're more prone, just like this said, to heart attacks, strokes, and all the other issues because of the diet.
Yeah, sugar, too much sugar, excess sugar causes literally inflammation in your arteries and your veins, which, like Matt said, causes stenosis, and you're eventually your heart ends up growing atherosclerosis, and eventually your heart hypertrophies, and people get into CHF, heart failure, just because of sugar. Sometimes we don't know why diabetics go into heart failure or CHF. They don't really have any kind of history of it, and you realize that they have unmanaged diabetes and their sugars are out of control. Everyone sees up, and then that literally causes heart disease. Mm-hmm. It's very sad. Like you said, at a young age, like it started at a young age, and people just don't change, don't stop, and these things you can't always feel them. You don't feel your heart getting bigger. You feel your heart getting bigger when it's to a certain point where you become short of breath and you literally can't breathe.
You got to come in.
Yeah, and it's sad.
Like the kidneys too, man. Like it's an awesome organism that filters all this stuff, and we don't know like these little cells that are filtering this urine. It gets damaged, and over time, like the diabetes are literally destroying our kidney cells, our kidneys as general, and then the kidney doesn't function as an organ properly, and your creatinine builds up, your uric acid levels build up, and you got to get dialysis, man. And these people, a lot of these dialysis patients, if you guys think about things or ask, if you're in the medical field, just look at the correlation between like end stage kidney failure, people on dialysis, and if they have diabetes. More than likely they do. Like, and that's like one of those things that when it goes bad, it sucks, man, because dialysis is like 4 or 5 times a week. Like it's a commitment, man.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like we said, it affects your veins and your arteries, but people may think those are small vessels, but they're really not. There's even smaller vessels called capillaries, and those are the first ones to go. And these organs, livers, your lungs, your kidneys, they're very capillary dense. So they're even smaller than veins, and they're the ones that get clogged up quicker, and those are the ones that get damaged the most. And once those are damaged, they're so small, they don't get repaired.
Right.
And your body can make more capillaries, but it's hard to make capillaries when you have high blood sugar because your blood does become a little more thicker. I think, is it viscous the word?
Yes.
Yeah. And it's just hard to make those capillaries because they just get clogged back up right away. And then that leads to poor perfusion, and you can't perfuse your organs as much, and you get kidney disease, you get fatty liver, cirrhosis of the liver, and because of sugar.
Yeah, and we know body weight is obviously, and there's nothing to touch about it. It's linked to type 2 diabetes, it's linked to weight gain, and there's also sexual health. And they're linking high sugar content, and it has an impact with the erection. Is that what I'm reading?
Yeah, it's exactly. So I forgot what the exact term was, but impotent. Impotence
okay.
is unable to get erection. So, your girlfriend's having a good time, and you go to bed, you can't get it up.
Or you had that cookie before, man. Now she's asking for the D, and you just can't give it.
You can't get it up, and you can't figure it out. Your testosterone's fine, all your hormones are fine, but you're just maybe consuming too much sugar.
Yeah.